Mr. Johnson here with Core Plus, and we're going to cut an example piece of aluminum, and I'm going to show you what is standard operating procedure in my shop to do so safely on a vertical metal cutting bandsaw. The first thing I want to point out is aluminum is a softer material. So down here, while the machine is off, we have a 2-speed gearbox down here, and there's a little diagram, and right now it is in high speed, so I wanted to point that out. What we're going to be doing to cut this 1/2-inch thick piece of aluminum is making sure that our blade guides here are about 1/4 inch above the material. But I'm going to use this block as a push here, and I want to make sure that my guide is just above this block. Then we're going to lock it in place. Now I have a work light to make sure I'm seeing what I need to be seeing, and I could take a Sharpie and mark my line on here or scribe my line on here. And of course I have a push stick if I need it to make sure that things are out of the way, and I'm going to be wearing hearing protection on this machine. This is a cast iron table, so this table should not get wet. Here is our adjustable length fence, and each of these grooves that are on here are 1/2 inch apart. So we want to make sure that our fingers are not within 1 inch of each side, which is this strip right here, the entire length. So we need to make sure that we are clear from here, and this could very, very quickly cut a finger off. And notice that even I could accidentally get my thumb in here on top of this material. So we want to make sure that we are extra safe, because what we're using as a push block here. So if I were to cut off, and I want to cut off 1 inch of material, I would take this, I would take a steel rule, put it in here and make sure that it's where it needs to be, and then we would do a test cut. We would make sure that the emergency stop is turned off, that the power is keyed on, and we would, before cutting anything, turn on the machine and make sure that we don't hear any loud clicks, and we don't hear or see any blade wobble back and forth, making sure that our guides are just not touching the blade and not rubbing on the blade, and make sure that our guides are set up correctly so our blade doesn't twist or have the back end of the blade fishtail. Now over here, which I'll show in another shot in just a second, it's telling me the surface feet per minute of my blade, and it is at 1237 right now. And what we want is between 1200 and 1300 surface feet per inch to cut a 1/2 inch thick piece of aluminum. So what I'm going to do is take a sacrificial piece of wood that I know that I have cut and is square on here. I'm going to lock down my fence, and I'm going to very carefully push this in, and we're going to be dry cutting. And we're going to let it just cut into the material. Then we're going to move the material back and hit the emergency stop button to turn the blade off. Wait for it to completely come to a stop, and then we'll move our materials out of the way with our push stick if we need to. And sometimes, because of friction, our cut pieces can be hot. So we need to be aware that friction will warm up or make our pieces warm or hot to the touch.